Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, home of Rick Krajewski. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. Don't worry, we're not giving away your address. I promise, at least not yet. Unless you do bad. But what up, Dodgers Nation? I am Clint. You can find me on the internet at Twitter and Instagram. RealFRG. That's RealFRG right here.
At Twitter and Instagram.
At Twitter and Instagram. At me, and then at me from there. And then all the mentions get blown up, and it's going to be a good time. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, welcome back.
Thank you. And I'm Brooke. You can find me on Twitter and at Instagram at BrookeMe3. You can subscribe to this wonderful podcast on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found.
Absolutely. And you could also watch this live stream every Tuesday right here, Facebook and Twitch and YouTube, plus a little bit of that Twitter and Periscope love, just saying. And before we get started, like I always say, live stream, let us know where you guys are watching, area codes, what your schedule is, when you're going to be home or not, because we want to know your home address, where do you leave the hide key, all that fun stuff. You know how it is. So on today's show, we got stats on stats on stats with the guru. I'm just going to call you the Wiz. You're cool with that, right?
Whatever you got to do.
The Wiz.
The Wiz
yes,
guru.
That is Dodger stats man, Mr. Rick Krajewski. Back in the saddle here again at DNHQ. Major League Baseball has finally fixed its biggest problem, it's my personal opinion.
What would
it's
that
the
be?
biggest problem. We'll get to that in the next
exactly.
segment. Or the second half of the show. Stick around. It's super huge. Plus, PeCoTa projections for 2019 as we see 402 Aurora, Nebraska coming in. Diamond Hoggers, friend of the show, knows what's up. Big Worm says fire Luke Walton. Wrong show. Just saying, wrong show. I did have $1 on it. I lost $1 on Luke being fired last week. But first, on today's show, Brooke is back, and he's going to tell us all about that sweet, sweet married life. Details. Tell us everything. Every dirty detail.
I am back. I got married.
All right.
Yeah,
it was
great.
That was exciting.
You guys weren't there. I'm talking to you guys as in the audience.
I
you
wasn't
weren't there.
there.
I remember you not being there specifically.
Thank you. I feel special.
You're welcome.
Was Rick there?
In spirit.
Yep.
Yeah. I felt it.
It's very spiritual. We'll give you a couple of points.
I thought that was going to be a lot longer than it needed to be. I'm really
That's
glad
what
it wasn't.
she
Hey-o.
said.
Moving along here.
Moving along. Thanks for joining us again. I had to survive an episode with Gary, and you know he did.
He did a great job. Gary did great.
Shockingly, he did okay. But Ben in DC on YouTube says Lakers pissing him off. Yeah, I think that's kind of the sentiment. But we went really hard on Lakers last week. So this is not Lakers Nation this time.
Logan Jones wants to know why you weren't the best man, by the way.
Yeah, we do good stuff. Logan, you know what? It's because
I asked him. He said no.
Yes. I was like, sorry, I just can't. I have eyes for one, and that person's Rick.
He didn't want to upstage me at my own wedding.
Yeah. You know, I go hard.
You couldn't
on
bring the
dance
soundboard
floor.
to the wedding, so he didn't want to come.
Plus, you know me. I have so many working ankles. So, Rick, how about your off season? What's been going on, man? You haven't been in here for a while, and you also we haven't seen you or heard about. Well, I guess we don't really see you or hear about you much on the Dodger Cast, but you know, what's going on? How's life?
It's good. I'm ready for the season to start. I mean, it's been a lot of. I think early on there was a lot of okay, what do I do now with all this time? So
yeah, that's.
I was tweeting a lot about The Office. I think a lot of people saw that.
There you go.
But yeah, I've been doing a lot of basketball with Joe for his Fox schedule, so that's been fun, keeping me busy.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, no. I mean,
How you doing, Joe?
he's a real up and comer.
Yeah.
So hopefully you'll hear about him soon. But yeah, that season's wrapping up, and obviously Dodger season starting. So excited to get going again.
Spring training. Well, that's been the weird thing is that all over, even Dodgers social media is saying spring training starts tomorrow, but everybody's there today. Dave Roberts did his first media scrum today. Clayton Kershaw, we just put out a post about it a little bit ago. Clayton Kershaw threw his first bullpen already, going throwback Thursday, throwing to Russ Martin. I have not heard yet, though, if Russ threw out his standard "I'm in the best shape of my life" quote.
Everybody's in the best shape of life right now.
Everyone is, yeah.
But
Myself included.
He was different level back in my day, back in the good old days of not the bad old days of Frank McCourt. Yeah, he was all about that. So, Rick, we got you here, and thanks for coming out. Yeah, thanks for coming down the street here to DNHQ, friend of the show. Leading off, we know you're the guy in charge of this. For real, how are Manny and Bryce still not signed?
I mean, I would not have guessed it would take this long.
Right?
I I think it's just like a different market now than we've seen in the past, and I don't think teams are as open to shelling out these long 10, 12, 8, whatever year contracts with big dollar amounts added to it. So I've seen a lot of people at least reporting that there's a bunch of teams that would love to give Bryce 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is, but they don't want to go that full 10.
No.
Right.
And from what I've heard, he's not going to do that. So I think it's just someone's got to budge on this. I don't know who it's going to be, but
if it's him that's not going to do it, or it's Scott Boras, that remains to be seen. But somebody somewhere wants to get paid, and rightfully so. Seldom do you have just, as we've thrown around a lot, the generational talent as a free agent at age 26, let alone 2 of them. But yeah, it's an interesting situation. We're seeing San Francisco's name. I'm guessing they have paid media doing that or something. I don't see that happening. I don't think that's just not Farhan. IMO.
Everything I've heard, they want to do this the short term as well. So I don't. And then with Manny, I think he's gotten. Again, I don't know what's reported as true and what's just kind of planted by agents, but I think he's gotten some of those longer term offers. I just think in his mind he thought it was going to be a done deal. He's going to go to the Yankees where he wanted to be, and it didn't really work out that way. I've read something, again, don't know how true it is, but that he was frustrated with his agent because his agent probably sold him on, hey, we're going to get you a long-term record-setting deal with the Yankees, and now it's, okay, they got Tulo, and they're not really expressing interest in me and what's going on, and this White Sox deal that's been lingering out there that seems like everything he wants, but I don't think he wants to play for the White Sox. So I think there are two different kind of angles there. With Bryce, they just don't want to go with that value for that long, and I think with Manny, I think he has something that he wants that I don't know that has been offered to him right now.
Yeah, it seems like with him also, I mean, if he has, let's say he does have an 8 or 10 year deal, Manny, with White Sox, it just doesn't make sense to him to go to yet another potentially rebuilding or far off team. He just came from that for all of his career, so it's a tough situation for him, to go from probably, in my opinion, the worst run organization. It's one man's opinion, and also many other worst run organization in Baltimore, and then to go from there, and then now you're playing in the World Series, and you're kicking people's heels along the way. It was bad time, bad timing for things. I think in his world. I was talking about a little bit on the internet machine about maybe you can kind of sort of give him the benefit of the doubt of just such a culture shock. Am I wrong in that? Can you give a superstar, a platinum glove winner, the benefit of the doubt when we're talking about this much money?
Yeah, I mean, you have to figure he's going after big money, and a lot of people, there's the argument that we'll talk about probably at some point between, is this the owner's fault? Is this the player's fault? And we've talked about it a lot over the past couple of days. But I mean, Manny's going to get what he thinks he deserves to get paid, and people will say whatever they want about his lack of hustle, his on-field problems, which I don't think he has many on-field problems, if any at all. I think he's a player. He wants to play. He wants to win. And I think that's all that team should really care about, other than the fact that he is an elite player. So, if he wants to go out and get his money's worth, I think I'm all for it. He should go get his money's worth.
And we're getting kind of some mixed reviews here on the chat here. We got, Evans, Mr. Diamond Hoggers, friend of the show. He's saying Manny to the White Sox. JD Dodgers is saying just forget about Harper, which I really wish we could. Like, that would be glorious. Dodger Bronson, Dodgers give older players high average value, of course, for 3 to 4 years. I would love that. I would love to have Bryce for 3 or 4 years. He has a prime opportunity to do that, come back and be a free agent at age 30, which makes a lot of sense. But you never. That's me. I don't know.
I'd still rather have Manny for.
I'd play for $25. I don't really care.
Well, yeah, we knew that.
I normally pay to play softball, so just saying. I'm just saying. What else? Yeah. So, and win the Blues. I'm worried about the 100 other unsigned players. And again, you could. That's at was it Rick_K21? It's all his fault.
Yeah,
all his fault.
DM me. I'll give you answers for everybody. Every single one.
There you go.
Yeah, he's
real good
knows
at answering
these
questions.
Yeah. So all off season, Dodgers were linked to JT Realmuto.
They were.
It didn't happen, as we've saw, as you became alerted to earlier this afternoon. He's on his way to Philly. That's going to happen. I mean, it makes a lot of sense for Philly. But do you see? Is this a whiff for the Dodgers, or was it the right call to not lose? Was it 3 of the top 5 prospects?
3 of top 5.
Is that the right call?
So there's 2 different questions there. No, it's not a whiff. Yes, it's the right call not to do that, because, in my opinion, I was like, wait a second, how do I answer this? If the reports are true that they wanted our 1, 2, and 3 prospect. I think that's just too high of an asking price for just 2 years of Realmuto. If it was 3, maybe you consider it, but considering they traded away prospects for Machado and now they're asking to take the top 3 from the system, I just don't think that would have been the fair value for it, especially considering we have a couple guys coming up who we think within the next couple of years could be contributors on the field. So the way I look at it, and had a couple conversations with others about it as well, is with the other teams in the division rebuilding for the most part. You know, look at the projections. The Dodgers are projected to win the division by what? I'd guess like 8 to 12 games.
It's like 9
that range.
games.
Yeah. So some of that range already with the team that they're putting out on the field. So to deplete the farm system in that way, to bring in a guy when you're already projected to win the division as it is, I'd rather sit tight with what you have. And then if you need to make a move late in the season when you're saying, hey, we need to make a playoff push, we need to, you know, get over the hump, I guess, with what we have on the field, and we know what our deficiencies are, I'd rather use those prospects at that point to get someone else who can kind of make that final push versus bring in a catcher who very elite offensively, I would say, defensively above average, you know, a good player. I mean, there's no knock on him at all, but I think we can kind of get by with what we have in the catcher's position, hope that those guys coming up will be really good pieces a couple years down the road, but I didn't feel comfortable giving up the top 3 in the system for that.
Yeah, and I think, and I feel that Brooke would probably echo my sentiment here, is that Gavin Lux is just really one of the untouchable guys in the system because middle infield is so thin with the Dodgers.
I've been watching him for a long time too.
Creeper.
Yeah, like really, really creepy.
Proud of
like
you.
at Rancho is where I first picked up on him because I go to a lot of Rancho games because they're like free almost.
Yeah. $25 for a game.
Right. He's one of those guys, you know, I saw Mike Napoli in single A ball and the moment I saw him, I knew, like, this guy's probably going to have a pretty good career. And there's just, every once in a while, you see those guys come through. The Dodgers more often than most teams. You know, when Bellinger rolled through there, when Seager rolled through there, everyone knew. Like, these guys are probably going to be something pretty big.
Yeah.
And with Lux, you know, watching him play there, I thought, you know, he's really good. Like, this kid could be amazing. I haven't read a lot about him before that. But since then, I mean, he's just torn up, like, everywhere he's gone.
Yeah.
And he's good. He's, you know, I only hear good things about his glove. He's going to be the middle infielder of the future, one way or the other, wherever he plays.
The arm, they say, isn't the greatest,
right?
But there's a reasonable chance he could see some time at Dodger Stadium this year.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about the call-ups at the end of the year. He's probably included in that. And then when you look at the breakdown of Realmuto, you know, you hear the name and you hear the star caliber behind it, and of course you want that on your team, and of course you want those players in LA. Where the lights, you know, shine the brightest or whatever. But I mean, he's not great. He's not, in my mind, he's not 3 of your top 5 prospects.
No,
great.
correct.
It doesn't matter how bad or good your farm
or
system
Bellinger
is.
and another guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It almost was like the Marlins were like, we're just not doing business with the Dodgers, which is what it felt like for a lot of the time for me, especially when you consider what they got from Philadelphia. Those guys are, you know, no slouches by any means, but it wasn't equivalent to what was asked of Los Angeles. Realmuto, you know, if you look, we're jumping a little early into the PeCoTa, you know, we'll jump a little early.
I said that was the second half of the
show. A little early into it, but his DRC plus of 114, I mean, that's good, but that's not an elite catcher. That's not an elite offensive player. And his defense is good. He's a good defensive catcher, but he's not the best defensive catcher. If he was the best defensive catcher and a really good hitter, I mean, you got to throw some prospects at him. But
yeah, you know
Barnes
how much
Barnes has an expected DRC plus of 103. Realmuto's at plus 114. That's not that much of a difference when you consider Austin Barnes, who, you know, we talked about it before. We're all pretty high on him. You guys, you think he's going to have a pretty big bounce back year. You think he's going to have a pretty. Everyone does, even PeCoTa does, which we'll talk about later. I'm not going to jump into right now.
Teasing it, man. I'm so proud of you.
I'm ready to roll the dice on Sam.
Sam,
Mr.
make it happen.
Mr. Barnesies.
Wait, is Sam dead now because Utley's gone? You guys let us know in the comments to the to the side. It's not below anymore.
He's still Sam.
Back in my day, you used to be able to say let us know in the comments below, but it's wrong. They're like over
comments
here
to the side. Or
that's one
way.
of the things I do love about the way the video side of this works is I'm normally looking at the questions off screen here, but it looks like I'm just looking at a feed of questions.
Yeah, it's just,
yeah, it works great.
Professional.
Very professional. Yeah. You know, I give myself a couple of points because I'm money, son. So I saw a question, friend of the stream, Ashley, asking about do we think they're starting this season stronger or weaker than last year? And that kind of goes into what we're saying about, are Russell Martin and Austin Barnes really enough to get us through the season? Will we see Will Smith called up maybe by like June? How soon can DJ Severe getting jiggy with it in the rotation? Dieter, you better be learning summertime like I asked you last week. These are all very important questions, but all of that aside, does this team, Rick, in your opinion, you did your homework very recently, had fun on it, we saw. He paid that $9.99 a month for that Word subscription. I got to turn that off, by the way. Everything's Google. Hashtag not a sponsor. Don't demonetize us, Facebook. Is this team enough, or do they need one more big bat to get over the hump?
I think in the way it's currently built, I think they're good. There's guys out there that I think for the right price they could bring in just as kind of a depth. But you have a bunch of guys in your lineup or on your roster that can play a lot of positions and can contribute offensively. And I think when you kind of break down the numbers and you look at what they did last season, the issue wasn't a bat like Harper, like a big home runs, Realmuto, whatever it may be, or a power guy, as much as it was really boom or bust with the offense. I don't have it somewhere in this packet, but
even the inability just to get the runner home from third early on in the season was big.
Runners in scoring position.
Runners in scoring position.
I think they were like 9th in the NL in runners in scoring position, and a lot of that was padded late in the season.
Right.
A lot of it was padded with in games where they were up 12-1 or 30-1, where they're getting those that type of production, and it wasn't.
It's like Milwaukee or whatever.
21 run games.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly clutch situation.
Right.
So I think those are areas where it's not necessarily a big bet that they need. It's just maybe a different approach for some guys. And you saw Kike late in the year. It was less trying to hit home runs, more trying to hit gaps and find holes out there. And so he was a lot more
playoffs
productive.
But then everything kind of
baby steps. So I think that the way the roster is comprised right now, they have the pieces they need. It's just a matter of those guys executing the way they should and kind of having that right approach to the plate.
All right, so let's not beat around the bush here. Are they winning the World Series this year as is?
I think he just guaranteed it, honestly.
There we go.
So I saw that Littlefoot, friend of the stream, says, tell Rick I said hi, so Ashley says hi.
What up?
We got to wave awkwardly.
No, Ashley's very nice. She won't attack you on Twitter or anything.
I think she attacked me in real life one time a little bit. It was a fun time. We had a good time. We all survived an 18-inning game. Maxwell hit us a home run to make the night a lot more fun. I'm not going to get into that one. Not going to get into it. By the way, we did already win the World Series. I am going to get into it. Dodger Dog voted the best.
That's all that matters.
Is that a right assessment? Are you a Dodger Dog? Let's go with you. No? Okay.
No. It seems like Dodger Dogs are very hit or miss. Like in my
As
in
are
my
the
mind,
Dodgers.
Hey,
all I do is win.
That's the show.
So
you guys like it. Anyway,
in my opinion, a Chicago Dog is better.
Okay. Oh yeah, you would.
I'm from Chicago.
Okay.
What is that? Just an ice dog right now?
Take that, cold. Chicago.
Because you guys see, it's a bit chilly.
It's cold in Chicago.
Oh, well.
Did you know that?
Oh, this is gonna be my part where I know in the post production I'm putting in an ad break right here. Okay, now we're good.
Right there.
All right, so Facebook, I know, I've seen it. Periscope, everybody wants to know. It goes with, we've added a big bat in a way. AJ Pollock, what are your real feelings about this guy? What does he bring to this team numbers-wise, and kind of what stands out to you?
Well, first off, he was a Dodger killer last year.
Yes.
I think he hit 9 of his 21 home runs against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
That's
really
like the whole addition by
sense.
subtraction sort of thing, I guess.
He wasn't even in that many games. How did that even happen? Yeah. But you remember we played the Diamondbacks like 93 times in March or something like that?
Yeah. All those times they won the division. No, I remember that.
Yeah, when they won the division in March. Yeah, good times.
Anyway, he was 2 different players last year, pre-injury, pre-thumb injury, post-thumb injury. And if the Dodgers get the guy that they got pre-injury, he'll be a complete asset for the team. If he struggles the way he did in the second half, and once he came back from that, it could be a tough season for him. But I have some of the numbers here. He was first in the NL in slugging before that injury. He was 5th in OPS. He was tied for 3rd in home runs. He was 4th in at bats per home run. So he was. I remember at one point Joe saying, "Is AJ Pollock going to win the MVP this year?"
Yeah,
I do in one of the commercial breaks,
that.
and I was like, well, I guess I don't know if that's possible, but. He was having a really good year, and he's had injury issues over the years, and I think one of the things that'll help is with the depth the Dodgers have in the outfield and some of the guys they can kind of shuffle around. I'm not expecting him to play 140 or 150 games. If he can give us 110, 120, 125 type of range and not rush back from injuries because he's a large part of the offense, just kind of, I don't know, just give us that 110, 120. I think he'll be a pretty good piece for us. So
I think one of the probably underrated sides of this, we always talk about offense all the time. The Dodgers are a very good defensive team. Their championships many years ago were built around defense.
I hear a lot about these championships.
Pollock is the first natural center fielder that we've had since – when was the last time we had a natural center fielder? Like, realistically.
Don't say Juan Pierre.
Was that Sean Figgins?
Sean Figgins. Oh, I miss that guy.
But his UZR in center field over the course of his career is like 21.5, which, to put that in perspective, he had a 9.7 year in 2015. Lorenzo Cain last year led all center fielders with an 8.7 UZR. So Lorenzo Cain was statistically the best defensive center fielder last year.
Yeah.
And you think about how good Pollock can be, and it's like we haven't come close to that level of center fielder, and especially considering Dodger Stadium is one of the easier parks to play center field in compared to, that's funny because Lorenzo Cain plays in a ridiculous park for center field. That's a tough field. So he, that's one thing.
Yeah, we've seen it take out, Peterson for a couple of games. We've seen it do a lot of damage. We've seen CT3 also make some amazing catches there. So
yeah. So we see the comparisons. It's tough because people say, oh, they replaced Puig with Pollock, which is simply not the case. That wasn't the plan. I don't think the plan was Puig's probably going to be gone after this year, and if not, he's going to cost too much. Even if his talent isn't always there consistently, he's going to make money wherever he goes, and he's just going to cost too much. And we got Pollock at a pretty good discounted rate. And
that's a good
you
deal.
Can't say is Pollock replacing Puig? I don't know about that. I think when Pollock's healthy and at his best, he's better than Puig at his best from what we've seen. Have we seen Puig's absolute best? I don't know. That remains to be seen, but that's a gamble I'm okay with taking.
Not for an entire season, for sure.
Exactly. And so if you consider the prospect haul that we pulled and the fact that we were able to get some annual average lowered because of it, even though we took on the All-Star Homer Bailey, in my mind, that trade itself was worth it, even if you don't get a Pollock type. Yeah. That's how I see it.
What's the over-under on Bailey winning a Cy Young for the Royals this year?
I saw when they picked him up, I was like, he's going to shut us out twice or something. I don't know what it's going to
be. We don't even play them.
In the World Series. He's going to shut us out twice.
I love it. Well, I wanted to pop in over here in the stream. So I saw JD Dodgers says Costco dogs, 100%. Those are probably
so good.
Top hot dogs around.
Ashley said Portillo's.
Yeah, she's talking about Portillo's.
I love Portillo's.
Because she was talking about Chicago dogs, so that's good. Ben lets me know that Ice Dog is a minor league hockey team in Long Beach. I know that. I do know that.
That's cool.
But
that's a cool name.
Zed James _ a friend of the stream, producer of the stream, says Costco dogs are dope. That 100% will give him a couple of points there. And Casting His Trash says Pollock is better than Puig when healthy, which is perfect. And you already touched on it there. That's the elephant in the room. Is he the right guy to statistically replace or supplant Puig? You're not replacing. You can never replace somebody of that
magnitude.
Magnitude. He's not going to be as flashy. Puig's exciting. It was a sad day when he was traded because
sources tell me.
There was just, it's, I don't know, just the things he does on the field. You just say, wow. And just some of the plays that he makes, some of the things he does, some of the balls that he hit, it's just ridiculous. But from a statistical look at it, I think it's not a replacement. It's, just is it the right fit for what the Dodgers need? And the Dodgers have a lot of lefties that don't hit lefties very well. Pollock is a career .275 hitter against left-handed pitching. Puig, for being a right-handed hitter, did not hit lefties very well. So I think that's an area where they were pretty weak last year. I think it's somewhere that he can step in and be an asset for him. So, again, it's not a replacement, but I think he's the right guy, given the market, given what was out there, and given the price that we got him at. And not to, pivot back to just talking about Pollock, but one thing I forgot to mention, last year he struggled a lot with chasing out of the zone, and as a result had a pretty high swing and miss rate.
Yep.
So I think just kind of taking that patient approach the Dodgers have, that's where I think you kind of see improvement in his numbers, is kind of find that zone, taking more of a Muncy approach, kind of figuring out what his pitch is and driving that versus, being a little bit more of a free swinger. So I actually see where his numbers could take off and be pretty improved from last year.
There is. You heard it first. There's more World Series guaranteed by Rick. And if it doesn't happen, he's buying everybody Portillo's hot dogs.
Everybody.
Everybody.
You mean like us?
At this desk.
Yeah.
Everybody at this
now we're
desk.
talking.
There was a little asterisk in there. A couple of more stream questions. Jack wants to know from Twitter, is Bryce Harper really a generational talent? That's really a yes or no. Yes.
Yeah, I think you. We live in a weird time. I will say that. I mean,
We're never going to see a junior again.
No. Yeah. So you
might not even see a chipper again.
I'm starting to realize, like, the more time progresses, the more you're like, I'm seeing the best players of all time right now, and it just always seems like that. Like KGJ, best player during his time. Even now, though, KGJ, you're like, that's the best player. So maybe, but you think about like Mike Trout,
Ken Griffey Jr. is what he's saying.
Yeah, my bad. But you think about like Mike Trout
friends.
and Bryce Harper playing at the same time. You know, in my mind, I'm like Mike Trout every time.
Yep.
Oh,
you know,
hell yeah.
And I think most people would agree, except those weird Bryce Harper stands that like think he's gorgeous or whatever. I don't know. People love him for whatever reason.
Well, it's the
Sorry,
hair.
Bryce.
It's the
gotta
hair.
be the hair, right? Yeah. So, he's definitely a generational talent, but we're spoiled. We really are spoiled. We got to live through, Mariano Rivera. We got to live through some of the all-time greats and watch them play. We got to see the tail end of Maddox's career, which was awesome.
Andre Ethier,
the greatest of all time.
Miguel Rojas, Luis Cruz,
easily.
Juan Uribe. There it is. I just won the stream, guys.
There you go.
I just won the lightning round.
That turned into like a quick yes or no into like.
Yeah,
we
you
need to
kind of
talk
ruined
about this for a
everything. You ruined
while.
my. No, we appreciate you. Thanks for being
Thank you
back.
guys. I'm here.
Rick, thoughts? Generational talent.
I think he's a generational superstar from a marketing perspective. So I think some of the things he does on the field, I think just him being in LA with kind of the marketability of him as a player, yes. But from a numbers perspective, I don't know that anything really pops off the page in terms of, okay, this guy's going to do something that no one else has done before. And some of it is we've been spoiled with a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And I can't help but not think about Mike Trout when I think about Bryce Harper. And it's like, well, like you said, I take Trout every time. So, I don't know. That's why I kind of struggled a little bit with the idea of giving him a 10-year contract.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's a guy where 10, 15 years from now we're going to be like, there's never going to be another Bryce Harper.
He doesn't. Well, that's the thing. Like when you look at that, and we've chatted like in lunch chats here over at DN as we call it. The lunch chats about what really makes up that $400 million player. How many boxes can you check? And of course, the first one, everybody's like, "Oh hell yeah, Mike Trout." You give him the money, but then there's like he's not as marketable of a player, or maybe just Anaheim doesn't do it right. That's right,
No.
Anaheim at me, bro. Real FRG.
They're Los Angeles.
Bet. But no, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, he's generationally marketable. He's that superstar guy. He's got the flow. He's got the panache.
He sells
to make it happen
big time.
But he can't get a damn job. So what up, Bryce?
It's all right. Nobody can right now.
One generational talent to another. Ben from YouTube asks, any news on whether Kershaw is going to be able to regain any of the lost velo? Thoughts on that? I mean, we're not in there. And by the way, Rick Honeycutt, prayers out. Thoughts out to him as he underwent back surgery today, out for 10 days.
He did, yeah. So he's gonna be gone for a while.
Honeycutt.
I don't know that he'll ever gain that lost velocity back. Obviously, we're not there, so we're not seeing it, and we haven't heard much from him. And he's only thrown like 2 bullpens now, I think, because he threw one before spring training, and he just threw one, I think, today. So we haven't heard much in way of that. He's at that age. He's at that age where guys kind of start to hit that downhill on their velocity. That doesn't necessarily mean they're hitting a downhill on their career. When Maddox started to lose a tick off of his fastball, he got creative.
Yeah.
He started working that 2-seamer a lot more, and he became an edge-of-the-plate pitcher instead of a blow-it-by-you kind of guy.
And then
I think the only
then Rick's Cubs lost him, and he went on one.
Cubs.
Chicago,
man. You got it.
That's the way it always works, right?
But then you think about guys like Nolan Ryan, who never had to go through that. He's throwing like 120 when he was like 80 years old or something like that.
Remember, they put something a little bit different in the Wheaties there in Texas.
A little different. But, I wouldn't be too concerned about his velocity, honestly. At this point in his career, he's a really smart pitcher. You don't get to that level of eliteness by throwing
ability.
By throwing hard. There's plenty of guys who throw 102 miles an hour and they suck. Like they come up and they can't control, they walk people, they hit people, they give up bombs just because they throw it over the heart of the plate. So all you got to do is stick your bat out or whatever. So I think he's going to be fine regardless of the velocity.
What about you, Rick? You saw the numbers last year. You see the difference now. Do those numbers tell us that that's now kind of what we expect? And or maybe do your inner pitching coach, can he get by with a couple of changes on it?
I don't know that I can answer if he'll get it back, just because I don't know the issue or the status of the back problems. And like I said, if he's 100% healthy, it's possible you could see it jump maybe a mile per hour at best, I would think. But like Brooke was saying, I mean, as you age, you just tend to lose velocity, and that's can be scary for some pitchers, and some pitchers can adapt. But a guy like Kershaw, who's been so successful in his career, the biggest thing that stood out to me is about 2 years ago, you started to notice, if you look at his pitch usage, that he went from being a guy who threw about 65%, 63, 62, 61% fastballs to a guy who last year threw over 50% breaking balls. So, he's not like he's stubborn. He's saying, "Oh, I'm just going to throw the heat and either hit it or you don't." He knows what he has and what what he's lost and what he's going to have moving forward. And he's just become more of a crafty pitcher. He hits his spots. He locates well with his breaking ball. Yeah, he sets hitters up. So, I don't think it's a thing where you say, okay, he's still only throwing 91, 92 this year, and he's just never going to be very good again. So I have no reason to think, and we'll get into some of the projections later, that he's going to take a major step back just because the velocity isn't where it was 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. There it is. That's another World Series win, I think, right? That's what
that's a guarantee.
We're very glass half full kind of guy.
He's going to do very well this year, guys. You heard it here.
That's what we're hoping.
That's a safe bet, I feel like. I mean, with Kershaw in his career,
everybody had torches and pitchforks, and he still put up a 2.71 ERA or whatever it was.
Kevin want to sell him for like
he goes through that like 7 or 8 times a month.
I think right now he's trying to trade the Lakers. So
I think everybody's trying to do that a little bit, and so is Magic. Let's be real.
Okay, here we go back to Luke Walton.
The last question we'll get to here before taking our quickie break. Because you guys see right there in the stream, it says Arizona. Ooh, we're going real soon. Question for all three. This comes from Rafael Santiago. He's a friend of the stream. Question for all three. What would be your walk-up song if you played in baseball? Brooke, I'm going to have you lead off.
Ooh.
All right, we're going to have...
what's that? Who does that song, the I Would Walk 500 Miles?
The Proclaimers.
There you go, yeah.
That's a good one.
That's pretty good, because I'm not going to swing. I'm going to walk. Yeah, I'm not going to swing at that. I'm not stupid.
I feel there's been wasted opportunity. Speaking of the recently retired A.J. Ellis, they always used to play like Walk of Life and the songs along that vein. You didn't hear that as much.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Anyway, continue.
Put me
on.
in marketing or whatever.
Yeah,
that's it. That's my song. I don't swing.
He's walking. You're batting. Coming up to the plate, number Twitter says number 21.
21, yeah.
He's making you go first because he hasn't thought of his yet.
Yeah.
I already had it ready immediately.
Shut up.
Actually, I played in college. I had a walk-up song. I never got to hit, but
you had one.
When I warmed up before games, they would play a song. So that was great.
It just kind of ends. It really does bad. What's your song?
So there were two. One of them was Hip Hop Saved My Life by Lupe Fiasco.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it was.
Did we do this with you last time?
No.
Okay, I could have sworn like...
That was just like a side conversation, probably. Typical thing.
It's still one of my favorite songs. So,
that's a banger. That's a good one.
And
that's
then
a point.
for if I actually hit, if I could physically hit, and if I was allowed to hit, Your Love by The Outfield.
That song. That song is just so about itself.
Yeah.
Especially watching the video. Classic. Hey, shout out 80s knows what's up. That's impressive, though. You can have 2 walk-up songs.
It was D3.
And no ABs.
Well, I was a designated bunter, if it ever, like emergency bunter, but it never really came to that. So
Ross Stripling in the house. Yeah. Tell us about your new podcast, Ross. All right, guys, we're going to take a quickie little break. As you know, we are going to Arizona. Spring training. It's going to happen. It's going to be magical. We're probably eventually going to end up with a place to stay. But you guys can go, too. Visit Arizona.com/spring training. Here's Clinton Brook. This spring, follow your favorite teams to Arizona for Cactus League Baseball. And by favorite teams, of course, we mean your Los Angeles Dodgers. Amazing weather and landscapes, exciting outdoor adventure, incredible food. Arizona is the perfect home base for baseball fans.
10 stadiums, 15 MLB teams, 75-degree temperatures. All 10 stadiums are within 50 miles of one another in the greater Phoenix area. You can meet and actually interact with the players and even get autographs before or after games. The fan experience truly cannot be rivaled when out at spring training.
And there's so much to do and see nearby. Arizona is they're known for the incredible landscapes, thrilling outdoor adventures, or so they tell me. So why not check off some of those must-see destinations from your bucket list, like the Grand Canyon, Monument Valley, Horseshoe Bend, maybe even go to Horseshoe Bend twice, you never know. So many more options.
Yeah, and check out amazing restaurants and bars nearby, including tons and tons of craft breweries like Four Peaks, Angel's Trumpet Ale House, and Goldwater Brewing Company.
And my favorite part, obviously, breakfast. Breakfast is banging out there. Just saying it.
Arizona is super family friendly, and with half of the league in town, there's always something to do with the kids and even grandma.
Bring grandma. She'll love it. So plan your spring trading getaway at visitarizona.com/springtraining. That is visitarizona.com/springtraining. Or even download the Visit Arizona app on Google Play or the inferior Apple Store. And we're back. It's like we were just sitting here the whole time. It's like the TV, like late night commercials where they're pretend talking to each other. We're not
muted again, right?
No, I made sure to check.
Good.
Wow, way to bring up old stuff.
People thought we were kind of just messing with them last time, so I thought we could get away with it again. But
just
because
your boss,
you started talking.
Just because your boss said that. So I want to lead off this half of the show, the second half of the show, with the biggest news that's come out. Sorry, so JD Dodgers got me. This says no grandma. That's part of the ad run.
We recommend bringing your grandma.
Bring grandma. She loves spring training. Who doesn't love
why
heat?
That was added in, but it was.
She wears 3 sweaters in the Arizona heat. That's the way it works. But MLB fixed like all of the problems in the world. They've done it. Gone is the DL. Welcome to the IL. That's right. Welcome to Illinois. Injured list is now a thing, which means pace of play is fixed, right? That's what it is. They fixed it. Rob Friedman. He's the guy who does pitching thing.
Friedman.
He does. Rob Friedman does. He's pitching.
Rob Lowe.
Yeah,
Rob Lowe, friend of the show. He says terrific. I whatever. I'm not going to get too much into this.
People are still going to refer to it as the DL. You got to know that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nobody's calling it the IL.
We're always going to keep it on the DL.
It's going to take a lot.
It's going to take a lot, right? Yeah. I mean, it's too late. I'm stuck in my ways now.
Wait, what part was scripted, Jess?
I think she's talking about the filmed commercial.
The commercial that
she's right.
Yeah,
she nailed
100%.
that one.
That was 100%.
She got me. My sick voice is in it. That's how people know.
Yeah, because you sound super. I think but we are going to be out there. Just gonna say.
We will,
and we do things for money. That much aside, just saying, I'm not a fan of this whole IL thing.
With that.
There are a lot of things.
You don't like the IL.
Yes, I do not like the IL. I do not like the. I don't like the IE either. That's far.
Good thing. I hate the IE. I lived there, or I did live there.
Oh yeah, living that fancy unsinner life now.
IE life.
Unsinner.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. You don't like the IL, but no one cares.
Oh, you know what?
They're still gonna use
a point.
It, so
in your face, sucker.
That one just seemed like the right thing. All right, I had this one. I really wanted to get to it and give us more of your stuff. Rob Lowe says ciao. That's a good point. Second base. Tell me that Max Muncy can capably play 45 to 75 games at second base this season.
Sure.
All right,
hey, we heard it. Yeah, there's another one.
You heard it here first.
Is Max Muncy going to play the level of defense that Chris Taylor or Kike Hernandez can play at second base? No. I don't know if that'll ever happen. But they've never lost a game where he started at second, just so you know. They were 11-0 last year when he started second base.
Guys, get grandma. This is a very pivotal part of the show.
So, I mean, if you just go off numbers, how do you not start him there? But no, I think he showed that he has decent range. He can feel the ball when it's hit at him, and he hits the ball and he gets on base. So he's a tough bat to take out of the lineup. So as long as he's not kicking the ball all over, I don't know how. If he continues to produce, continues to get on, continues to hit home runs, I don't know how you can keep him out of the lineup. So
yeah, and that's a conversation we had a lot last year, where it's like, we get the platooning. We understand that as much as it frustrated us, it got us to the World Series. Yes. People whined and moaned about it a lot, but it took us very far. But it was really hard for us to swallow Max Muncy not being in the lineup every day, considering how well he hit left-handed pitchers for being a left-handed batter.
Or getting the one at-bat in a game. Or
exactly.
More so, hamstringing David Freese and getting him one at-bat.
Yeah, and Craig Counsell figured that out during the worst time of the season for him and realized that he could get Max Muncy's bat out of the lineup. And he did several times, and he was really good at it. So if you can make sure that guy's going to be in the lineup consistently, I mean, you talked about it. That's a bat that you want in, even if we don't know how he's going to look at second base, really, if he did start 11 games there. You hope that it's going to go well.
Sure.
But I think that's probably something that you're willing to give a little defense on if you have to.
And think about what they did with Matt Kemp early last year, where it was he would start, he was producing.
Yeah.
He'd play the first, 7, potentially 8 innings, get his last at bat, then a defensive replacement to close out games.
Yep.
So
plus, he wasn't atrocious start on defense to start the season, but then you could tell he got tired.
Yeah.
Legs got tired.
I got tired.
But
I think if they kind of approach it the same way as we get him as 3 or 4 at bats, and then put in if it's Kike, if it's Taylor, or whoever it is, put somebody else there as a defensive replacement late in the game. I think that could serve its purpose. And again, if he's got balls going through his legs and he's not turning double plays, whatever it may be, then it's an issue. But he's a professional baseball player. I think he'll be all right.
That's right. Stream saw. I did a Jim. I totally did a Jim Halpert right there.
That's cool. I'm proud of you on that.
It doesn't work on podcasts.
It doesn't because they don't zoom in on you, so it doesn't really work.
I can do that in post.
So you got 3. You can't do that in post. You can do whatever you want in post. You got 3 guys playing second base. If you might get an Austin Barnes in there every once in a while. You never know. You
Wait,
might.
Hold on. Did I ever give my walk-up song?
No.
You did not give your. What's your walk-up song?
Be a better host, me.
That's what it's called.
It's raining, man. The worst part is in my head. I knew in post-production, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to have that playing as the song, the little segment break song."
Well, you can insert it right.
All right, I'm going to clip all of this. All right. Anyway, who are you?
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to derail the entire conversation. But I'm glad you finally got to your.
Hey,
song.
You know what? Leave no fan behind. We took care of Mr. Whatever that person's name was, Santiago, Rafael. We took care of you eventually. With Muncy, I look at I don't know how high you guys are on what's the stat? The one where they say they're good at defense, but not like D-WAR or anything like that.
The UZR?
That's the one, maybe.
Rating?
No. The other one. Why can't I think of it right now? I'm normally prepared for these sorts of things.
Well,
Defensive runs saved.
Oh.
Max Muncy's best defensive position on the field, small sample size, is second base. He's like +4. Everywhere else, he's really bad. Third base, he's terrible, and we saw that.
He made one really good play at third base.
He has a really good arm. However, he needs time to be able to wind up. He's like me. I can't throw for soup unless I can wind up. That's why Gary thinks I have a decent arm because I can wind up.
Mm-hmm.
And, you just put everything on the line that one time, even though your shoulder was just like afterwards.
Yeah, I can't wind up. My shoulder will blow up.
Yeah, he has no shoulder, just saying. All right, the other my last point of the question here with Muncy, as Jess says, be better. Thank you for that. You know what, Muncy, we're done with that. We are going to survive a season of CT3, Kike Hernandez, and Max Muncy. That's just the way it's going to happen. You agree, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really good second base combination, and I can guarantee you, as I channel my inner Walker Bueller, that is going to be better than the last 2 years of Brian Dozier and Logan Forsythe. You guys can brook it. Just saying.
Don't steal my things when you're. I love Brian Dozier still. Don't take that away from me.
Hey, you know what? I'm sorry.
I hope he's listening.
You want to hug it out, bro?
I really love the guy.
No, this isn't Washington Nationals.
I really
live,
want him to be my friend still.
Jess also reminded me to not say that I would do anything for money. I'm not wrong. I'm just saying that,
He's not wrong. He will do anything for money.
All right, so we know, Rick, we know you did your homework. I think I saw the name on there. What are your thoughts on what Joe Kelly brings to this team? This is another question Jess, friend of the stream, had.
I love the signing.
Uh-huh.
I think the bullpen was an area of weakness, especially in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they were very good against the Brewers, but once we got to the World Series, they struggled a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Madsen specifically. But I think he's a guy who throws very hard, which is always an asset in the bullpen. And if you look at his numbers from last year, during the regular season, the numbers don't pop off the page or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I think he had an ERA a little above 4. But it was really the walks that got in his way. If you look at his his outings. I think he walked somebody in 25 of them, and in 13 of them a run scored. In the ones where he didn't, I think a run was scored only in like 7 of them. So if he can avoid the free passes, stay within the zone, get guys to chase the fastball out of the zone once he gets ahead, I think he'll be very effective. And then I looked at Baseball Savant, and if you take a look at our division against pitchers that throw 96 plus, Dodgers included, I think 5 of the 7 worst averages against 96 plus in the National League. So think about facing the Giants, think about facing the Padres, Diamondbacks, Rockies. Those are all teams that struggled against guys who throw harder. So to have that type of weapon, that type of asset coming out of your bullpen, I think could be really beneficial this year.
Plus, with what the Dodgers have been able to do historically with those type of live arms, I'm really excited about it. Talking to or seeing the quotes from Joe Kelly around the signing, he seems excited about it. Plus, he gets to stay home during the season for the most part.
And you've seen him do a lot of stuff like in the community since then too. So it does look like he is really excied about it.
He's like low key super into the philanthropy stuff, but he doesn't overly throw it out there.
He was
one of those
like
guys.
A couple like not that long after he had gotten signed, he showed up in Corona, which is where his family is mostly from. He went to Corona High School out there. His dad was a coach at a couple of the high schools out there, I think, for a while. And he went to like the city hall and did signings just randomly for no reason other than, hey, I'm coming back to Southern California, which is awesome.
I do that too, but nobody shows up.
Yeah, I showed up at one, but you had left early, so I just decided I wasn't going to go to him anymore.
Yeah, you know, things become things. You know, it sort of happens.
Yeah.
But you want to? This is going to be Mr. Brooks. I think we're going to call this your first full-fledged segment hosting. This is putting more pressure on you.
More pressure on me. So we are moving into that time of the year where projections start to become the talk of the town, especially leading up into spring training. And with that, we have the PeCoTa projections for the 2019 season. So what we're going to do now, and you on the stream can join us and let us know your thoughts on each individual player that we choose to talk about, because we won't talk about all of them. We probably won't talk about Rocky Gale today. Probably not.
I'm sorry, Evans. That was not my call.
That's my bad, man. But we're gonna.
Are we gonna talk about Tim LeCastro? That's right. I said it. I said it. Man. What? You left me for a week.
I'm going home, dude. I'm a very big Tim LeCastro fan for no logical reason other than
like if you look up Tim LeCastro fans, it's like Brooke, and then it's his mom.
I was gonna say his family.
Then it's his grandma,
cousin. For no reason, we support them. I don't know why. So we're going to go through.
You guys look so similar. Anyway,
that's it. Yeah, we're going to go through these projections. I'm going to ask you guys what you think about wins above replacement, batting average, and what have you. So let's start with the most surprising player on these projections. Jerry Sands fan.
Jerry Sands, good one, Zed.
Zed's a Jerry Sands fan. Thank you, appreciate it.
Oh, I remember when everybody thought he was going to be the end of the world. Remember how bad the farm system used to be? Just saying, Ned, what up?
You see what you do? You just go cowboy and just
Everybody loves
So
me.
The most surprising.
My mom is super supportive.
That's all that matters. The most surprising projection has to be Austin Barnes. When I was looking at a lot of these numbers, he has the second highest wins above replacement projection on the team, which to me was mind-boggling, to say the least. But Rick, you have some different opinions. Do you think that he has some bounce-back potential? Do you think he is as they quoted, a 3.8 wins above replacement guy in 2019?
That might be a little aggressive.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's a very nice way of saying that.
Yeah, I definitely think he's a bounce-back candidate. I'm looking from a splits perspective. I don't think he's a 205 hitter like he was last year.
Right.
I think he got into a little bit of trouble being a little bit too
cautious.
I don't know what I'm looking for here, but
it's okay. You could be mean.
He didn't have a very aggressive approach to the plate. He was drawing a lot of walks, which is what made him successful, but almost to a detriment too much last year. His swing rate was down, and if you look at his strikeouts, over half of them were looking. So I think he just found himself trying to be too selective. That's what I was looking for. Selective at the plate. And in that case, kind of fell behind in counts. And when you're in 2-strike situations and then taking third strikes, it's not the recipe for success. So I think if he's a little bit more aggressive this year, he's shown that maybe he's not going to be a 290 hitter like he was 2 years ago, but he can kind of fall into that 240, 250 range, provide a little bit of pop in the lineup, hit behind runners, kind of do the things that you need to where he'll be hitting in the order. So I definitely see bounce back. I don't know. I mean, maybe some of that is defensive as well, but I'd say somewhere in the 2.5, 3 range would be decent.
Okay, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good pick for it. I would take that.
Oh, I think
all things
anybody would
considered.
take that.
Yeah, considering that we are going in with Austin Barnes and Russell Martin as our starting two, our rotating catchers. I don't think a lot of us had a lot of confidence originally, but that's kind of changed with these numbers. Over to you.
Never heard of him.
They have us predicted, us as a team, because we are all one team. They have Cody Bellinger predicted at the most home runs on the team at 27. Are you over or under on that?
For him or as the home run number for the team? Because that's really low. I'm over. He's probably a 34 guy, 33. That's my. You guys heard it here first. Professional drunken projections.
There you go.
For Cody Bellinger, he's gonna be less wishy-washy this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's actually really surprising considering not that you're.
I'm not a basher. I'm not a hater.
You're not a hater. That's not what I said.
I'm disappointed in you.
Yes. So that's a pretty big high number.
We're not mad. We're just disappointed.
I actually 3 weeks ago I made my projections for Bellinger's for home run totals for the whole team, and you can see the date on this. It's 30th. I actually don't know. The projections didn't come out before then, did they? Otherwise, I just read it.
Came out.
I put Bellinger at 27, so that's interesting, and I put Muncy right at 25.
Wow.
So basically, whatever I say from here on out is probably right.
But we think you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So it works out perfectly. Moving on.
Do I have to put a quarter in you for the fortune?
Can I touch on Bellinger for a sec?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
Sorry.
I say I go above on that. I think he's going to have a huge year. And I just look at, if you look at the first 2/3 of the season versus the final third, I think the last 54 games, he hit 316. Numbers right here. Where is it? 316, 385 on base, 515 slugging. So I think a lot of it was just getting his swing right. He seemed a little bit uncomfortable. Like he wasn't really locked in. He was trying a lot of different things early on in the season. And once he got comfortable late in the year, I think he was really, really successful. So if he can carry that over, I didn't even hit in college. So I shouldn't be giving hitting tips, but I felt like he was a little long with his swing last year.
But you
I think
had two walk-ups on.
If he shortens that, hey, you got to be prepared. You never know.
Yeah.
I think if he shortens that down, kind of stays on one plane, I think he'll be really, really successful.
There you go. You heard it here again.
Yeah, no, you could definitely see the difference when that was his biggest claim to fame. Same with like Seager, and that's what I still say. Seager is probably the biggest player acquisition any team has made so far this offseason. That dude he could just fall out of bed with a bad hip and hit. But him and Cody, when he came up in 17, a lot of it was taking advantage of that left side. As soon as he became pull happy, you could just attack him and pound him in, and he's not going to be he's not going to look as pretty on those strikeouts as he is on the homers. That is for sure.
That is for sure.
That was my ending. That was my Jim Hill ending to a pointless statement.
That 515 slugging percentage, I think it was that you pointed out. That was the one that had stuck out most to me because he just, even when he was getting hits early in the season, they just had nothing on him. It looked like it was everything that was a single. It was pretty concerning early on.
So strange lot of numbers. Says wants to know about Bellinger bunting. Do we think Belly's going to bunt more this season?
I don't think so.
I don't think he should.
He'll
find it.
He actually did a pretty good job hitting against the shift in the second half of the year. I think he was among the league leaders in average against the shift in the second half. So I don't think he's one of those guys that's the only way he can put it down the left field line. No. So I think if he just takes his normal approach, and then when he gets 2 strikes, just shorten up, he'll be okay.
Yeah, they actually started easing up the shift on him, if you remember, at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see him working with Vince Goyak all season. That should be pretty fun.
And with that, we're moving on from the Cody Bellinger talk because we talk about him a lot all the time.
Friend of the show.
The next guy up, Chris Taylor, and this was the number I didn't know if I agreed with. So I'm going to let you guys fight it out. They are projecting Chris Taylor at a 2.6 wins above replacement, which would be his lowest number by far as a Dodger for wins above replacement, because I think he was at 4 both seasons.
Yeah, 4.8 and then 4.2, I think.
Something high, something close to 4.
No, those are what they were.
They were? Yeah. There you go. So that would be his lowest productive season, I guess you could call it.
Or least productive
season with the Dodgers, other than... we don't count the before Chris Taylor. He doesn't exist in reality.
You mean the Zach Lee era?
The Zach Lee. There you go. So what do you think? Is this, where does this number come from realistically?
Baseball.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is where it comes from.
And we're learning.
I think the strikeouts are a concern for a lot of people. He led the National League in strikeouts last year, which is a major red flag. It seemed like he was swinging and missing a lot more. There's real deficiencies if you look at his at least from last season, is hitter profile up in the zone and down, breaking balls down and away.
Yep.
So I think there's deficiencies that he needs to work on. Hopefully he did in the offseason where he can improve that. I could see a drop-off in WAR just simply because with having Seager back, that's one less spot. If Seager is going to be your everyday shortstop, it's now, okay, he's kind of platooning at second, he's platooning in the outfield. So you just have one less position open where he could be getting playing time. So maybe it's just less games played or less opportunities, especially if, someone like Kike starts off hot and has a great year or whatever it may be, if Muncie's hitting. So I just think maybe some of that is he's just not going to have as many at-bats or as many opportunities out there. And I think there were concerns, at least when putting those numbers together, of his ever-growing strikeout rate this past season.
Yeah, that was insane. I understand what you're saying, and I definitely agree that it's more likely that number's going to be lower based on less playing time because straight up they got a center fielder somewhere he was great at. He's not going to play as much in left field because you need a spot to play Verdugo. I've seen it up there. I'm a huge fan of Andrew Tolles. I think I'm one of 7 people that is a fan of Andrew Tolles. But PeCoTa here, looking at the numbers, they have Taylor 73 runs and 57 RBI, so he's getting some ABs in this scheme. I think you're closer to being right than PeCoTa. We're going to call it ricotta.
Ooh, ricotta. That's a cheese.
Ricotta. It's more of a K than the C.
I got you.
Yeah, I fixed it. Anyway, that's it. Oh, you know what? Instead of me, Waffle House. I'm definitely going to Waffle House. We're trying to work something with them. I did surprise Jose with Jose. I realized I really whited that up and
very good
in Spanish, but he was a 4-win player. Yes, shockingly, CT3 was a 4-win player.
People forget that a lot.
But Bugs, not Bunny, in the house. Periscope says Taylor is going to be a key X factor.
If he's good,
that's why I left that.
Yeah,
if he's good, he's going to be a key. I definitely agree. You're going to see a lot of him, and I'm sorry, but Max Muncy's going to see some time at 2B.
You don't have to be sorry. It's okay.
I agree. And if you actually look at a lot of Dodgers were really, really good in September, but he was actually one of the more elite players in baseball the last month of the year. So I think the potential's there. It's just a matter of executing. And biggest thing for him is, I've said it before, I mean, you have to put the ball in play. You got to cut down that strikeout rate. That's where you really struggle.
From Coach Rick, just do better.
Don't strike out.
Yeah, there you go. Don't strike out. That's I think the entire Dodgers Twitter, that's all it's about. Like the whole every fan.
Yeah,
don't strike out.
If you don't lead the league in strikeouts as like a semi part-time player, then you probably did okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to go off the script here a little bit. We're going to talk about Corey Seager for a moment because I hadn't noticed this number until now, and that's concerning, but also maybe a little bit understanding. If you look at his fielding runs above average, which is a defensive metric that they use for PeCoTa, he's at a negative 6.2, which would put him
for this season or in his career.
No, that's what they're predicting. For their projection for 2019,
they're way off. They're
which is well below poor, what they call it. Their ratings are excellent, great, average, poor, and horrendous. He's well below poor, but not quite into horrendous territory, which I think is what Melky Cabrera is the standard for it on there. I wish that was a joke. He's actually their standard for it.
Number 1, whoever made this, how dare you? Number 2, where do you get off?
Number 3, I can see the concern.
I can see the concern, but concern isn't a projection.
I would also like to pause it for a moment because I need you to hear this number. Austin Barnes, 18.7. 18.7 on the fielding runs above average.
That's positive?
Like positive. That's like well above excellent.
That's friend of the show.
Framer.
He's a good framer, yeah. And, I'm sure that factors into it. And he does throw out, I think, like 32% of would-be base stealers, which is pretty good, right on par with, like, good catching.
Yeah, which is funny because he doesn't have an exceptional arm. As SD Dodger Tim pointed out earlier in the stream, thanks for hanging out. But, yeah.
Pop time.
It's pop time. Yeah,
he's young.
He has exceptional footwork. He's still young enough.
Yep.
Yeah, it just works, and you don't need to have the greatest arm. Brooke can tell you don't need to have the greatest arm or all tendons and ligaments in place. It's just about getting the job done, about being best.
Yeah, but back to Corey Seager talk a little bit before we move on to some of these other guys. They put him at a 282 average. They put him about 19 home runs, which I was also spot on Seager's home run total too, which is getting weird, guys. I don't know.
Make it all about you.
282. That seems like a good area for him to hit. No one knows really how much he's going to play because we don't know really how healthy he is. Apparently he's running full speed, which is great, but doesn't mean a whole lot at this point. Apparently he's also throwing 90 feet, which is an improvement on 0 feet.
Yeah,
I've heard. 282. good
I think
ballpark
that's
for him.
pretty spot on. It's a reasonable prediction. I mean, 282 for a guy who didn't play for the last 8 months of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be happy with that as a Dodger fan, as a Dodger employee. But
There you go.
just going to the defense, I guess, a little bit. I could see the concern just because he's a taller, I guess, lankier shortstop. So maybe the range, I guess, a little bit could be affected by that. And then coming back from shoulder surgery, it's, going to be a little bit tougher, especially if he's not going to be able to be in the lineup opening day, which there is concern for that maybe he won't be ready. So
Yep.
I could see the concern there that maybe he won't be an elite defender, but I don't know. That seems kind of aggressive with the negative. But, yeah, numbers-wise, offensively, I think that's
Right on par.
yeah, that's what I would put him at.
Probably put him at that too.
That's under. That's way under for me on average. We're talking about Corey. That dude is just one of the best players in the game. I take him as a shortstop.
He's our best free agent signing.
Yeah. I take him as the full package of him. I'll take his full package over Manny Machado. Just saying, hey, you guys know what's up top.
There we go.
But
we're gonna move on quick from that one.
315 average.
315.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're saying
It's
he's
Corey.
probably going to be the best hitter on the team then?
It's Corey.
Yeah, I love Corey. I'm excited to have him back. Moving on, we're gonna, Max Muncy. It's funny, he pops up all over this because he's under second base, he's under first base, he's under third base,
Oh, yeah.
he's under left field for some reason.
Should not be
He's
under
not a
third
left
base.
fielder.
Should not be under third base. That's for sure.
Anyways, he's all over the place, but they have him hitting 246. They have him at the second most home run total at 25, just under Bellinger's 27. For me, I felt like that was a safe bet. Do you feel like 25 is kind of safe for him after that big year where he didn't get to play the full season?
Yeah, I'd say 25 was a good number. It's kind of I had him in the low 20s range, so I guess a little bit higher than what I had. I look at him and he got hot towards the end of the year, which was great to see. He struggled coming out of the All-Star break, so I kind of look at the second half as more indicative of what we're probably going to get from him long term.
Right.
He kind of burst onto the scene, I think, in the second half. Pitchers sort of started to figure him out. So I kind of look at I think it was like 246 he had in the second half of the year from mid-July on is kind of the norm for him. So when I look at the numbers they predicted, it was pretty almost identical to what he was the second half of the year. So I see that as especially with his approach to the plate, kind of a high on base average, and then swinging for the fences, and you saw what he can do when he makes good contact. So yeah, I'd say low 20s, 23, 24 range.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. He's not going to get he's going to end up losing some playing time as the season goes along. It's going to be first half was an outlier. That much is for sure. We can say that about his career. I will happily proclaim it here and declare it as I declare bankruptcy. Hey, he knows all about that.
There you go.
Off because the office. I'm not saying he's
Right.
he's not in financial trouble, guys.
Here's my Venmo.
You can get him on his Patreon.
Yeah. And here's the button for Patreon. No. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all you got from Maxwell?
Yeah, I've talked enough.
That's
about
fine.
him.
That's good. That's an acceptable number. I had talked about how I kind of expected some regression from him. I
think
that's about
everybody
right
does.
on par with about where I expected.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's going to be like a 50 home run guy by any means.
Yeah.
On to some newish.
He's
New to the
He's
team. He's new to the
guy.
team.
New friend of the show.
Yeah. He's a friend. He's going to be
I'm
a
gonna
friend
give
of the
him.
show.
I don't know what AJ is, so I'm gonna give him Adrian James. That seems like that's his new name.
I guess if you want to do that. I met him at the event and he was very nice. I've never heard anything about him or his personality, but he seemed like a very nice guy.
He's a
He
nice
came
boy.
out
He was a
and
good boy.
He walked into the bullpen and was just standing there, and I just was on my phone and I looked up and looked at him and he went, "Hello," and I was like, "That's not a response I expected."
You're like, this is LA, bro.
Did you say hello? I was like, "You better get ready, man."
Like number one, where do you get off?
So they got him at a 1.7 wins above replacement with a 257 batting average. Did you score?
Yeah, I made
That's
it.
good. And about 15 home runs.
And I had a point.
Do you
'cause
feel
I made
like
it.
the home run total is about on par with 15 home runs? Do you feel like his 257 batting average is on par? What are you feeling on this guy?
I think the average will be higher. Home runs, depending on how much he plays.
they have him at like the third most or second most plate or third most plate
I
appearances.
forgot what I said. I think I had pegged him at like 21 to 23 dingers. He's
Mhm.
going those dongers.
You think he's gonna
Dumping out his
replicate
dong
that?
show.
Is
No.
that what-
I'm
what
getting
they're
no
calling
from producer. He says no.
We're gonna have to cut that.
All right, post. It's not this is live or anything. Anyway, that's my take. He's going to blow both of those out by less so on average, 270-ish, whatever.
So if he does get those 456 plate appearances that they expect him to, do you think these numbers are right on par?
I have him about 245 on the average and a little bit up on the home run. So
he's a hit more for power then?
Yeah. So I'd say a little bit higher slugging than they had, a little bit lower average, but kind of right around that 250 range.
Okay. I think that's pretty acceptable for what we paid for him, and if we can get those games out of him, I'll definitely take it. We're going to move on to pitching now, where if you guys did not see the numbers on pitching, PeCoTa was not kind to the Los Angeles Dodgers, were they?
Not exactly.
Not
friendly.
exactly. So we can start with our everyone's favorite,
the de facto or the ace. You call him the ace.
He's always going to be the ace until he retires. Doesn't matter where he is. He could be a closer. He's still going to be an ace. We'll call him the ace.
Throwing 84 miles an hour.
Exactly. Clayton Kershaw, they got him at 164 innings pitched, where, in my opinion, that's right about where he's going to be on the year in terms of innings pitched. They have him at 26 games started with a 3.24 earned run average, a 1.03 whip.
What about his name?
No, not
no nene.
They have him at 164 strikeouts and 12 wins.
All right, Rick. What's his nene at for you?
Yeah, there you go. What do you think about the? We'll start.
Something the kids did a couple years ago.
We'll start with a stat that has lost its value completely over the course of the past 5 to 10 years. His wins at 12.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about the wins at 12? Because that stat has kind of lost its popularity, I think.
I see 11. This is 11.
Kershaw?
Yeah.
This is 12. Bueller's 11.
Both of them on the sheet I'm looking at. Anywho.
Oh,
it's the wrong one,
it's our website.
I don't know how to answer this anymore.
Okay, if he's at 12, then answer 11.
I go above.
Above?
Yeah, I think the bullpen will be a little bit better than it was last year, especially think Kenley, hopefully healthy and fully functional, and Joe Kelly in the back end. Pedro Baez hopefully can repeat what he did last year. I think that they'll lock down a lot more of his wins. I think once he got healthy last year, his final 12 starts, he was 6-0.
Yep.
I think they won like 10 of his last 12 starts, whatever it was. So I don't know. Just with his pedigree and what he's done over the years, I have a hard time believing. I mean, I don't know what his actual win total was last year. Was it 9?
9. Yeah, there was only one. Only Rich Hill had.
He was the only one with double. He had 11.
11.
9 wins, and he missed time, and he wasn't effective early on. And even some of those games early on where he was effective, they were losing 1-0. So I see 14, 15, 16 range for him.
Over under on the 3.24 earned run average.
Under.
Far under.
I think he has so much to prove, not to anybody, but to himself. And he loves to prove things to himself, except for in October. But I digress. Yeah, it's going to be like a 2.5, 2.4.
2.5, 2.4.
Yeah.
Oh, I go higher than that.
Yeah, I have him at
How dare you? How dare you, sir?
He was at like a 2.7 last year. I think I probably have him around that. I think he is going to have a better year than last year, though. I will say that. His strikeout totals were kind of all over the place.
Yeah, he needs that strikeout.
They took a huge dip.
He needs the strikeout ball back. He needs a fastball again, which is what's going to happen. We're getting some people. We got 2.8 ERA from JT. Pedro Baez, the god from Zed. Thank you. 14-6. We have a 14-6 on here. 22 wins from JD Dodger.
Wow.
That is impressive.
That's aggressive.
You know what? If that happens, I'm buying you Dodger Dog.
I don't think they would pitch him enough to get 22 wins.
That's straight up going to happen. But then
26 starts,
and then a 2.94 from
maybe
Vargalosa. Oh, Vargalosa. Okay, I saw like Mar-a-Lago.
1.13 whip.
Yeah.
Where's he pulling that whip from?
From the
It's just a
Nene.
made-up number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta stop feeding you that. That's just too easy.
You should know these.
So
things.
from one ace to the next, we move
the real ace.
from the
His name is
older
Walker
ace to the
Buehler.
younger ace,
Yeah.
Mr. Walker Buehler. They were not kind to him. Also,
Way
156 innings pitched,
Way
a
off.
3.61 earned run average,
Way off.
a 1.2 whip.
What are you waiting for?
That's 175.
We're trying to host a show.
175. There you go. 175 strikeouts.
Hey, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it.
And I have 11 wins. I don't know what your false website has.
That one,
which is our
it's our
website.
Well,
here's the thing. That's not right.
Whatever. The thing needs to be updated.
Details.
They changed it. Hey,
they
PeCoTa does change.
Yeah, they do change. It says last updated. We won't talk about that.
minutes before the show is
Right.
when it was last updated.
11 wins.
He's a 17. I'm calling it right here. 17. He wants that 200 innings. He's going to get his 30 starts, probably 31, 32. And we're talking about the Buell Doggy Dog, the heir apparent to that's all. But
Yeah.
to the pitching mound. 3-6-1. That just seems like a lot. He's going to have 1 or 2 blow up starts, but not enough to get that high. I think him and Kershaw, that you're going to have that competition again, like throwback Kershaw Greinke, that fun time, them fighting for NL dominance against each other. It's going to happen again, and Buehler's going to be there the whole season.
He was a workhorse when he showed up too.
Mhm.
When the whole rotation was falling apart, I think everybody had something broken. I think the only time he really sat out was when he got hit with that line drive, which kept him out for a little bit. I mean, he got hit pretty hard. So I don't know. Do you expect him? They have him at 26 games, which is about even with what they have Kershaw. Do you think he's going to pitch more than 26 games? You think about how young he is and how careful they are with young arms, especially guys who throw that hard. Do you think he's going to get to that number?
I think so. I think he's already expressed that he wants to get to that number, if not more.
Yeah.
And I
He's
think
old school in that way. Yeah.
As long as he's healthy and he's not showing signs of wear and tear where they're seeing a velocity dip late in the year, or if he's less effective because he's tiring. Because at the end of the day, again, I just go back to what I said earlier. If they think they're going to win the division by 8 to 10 games, you don't want to run him into the ground to the point where we're kind of sputtering into October versus, okay, let's have a fresh, healthy, maybe skip a start here or there, kind of extend him, give him an extra day's rest. So I think that's a reasonable number. To talk about the overall production, I was shocked when I saw what they had for his ERA. I think over his last 12 starts last year, he allowed more than 2 earned runs in 1 of the 12.
Yeah, it's not like he tailed off. Or
his last 12 starts, he had a 1.55 ERA, so there was nothing really indicative to say, okay, he lost it.
Yeah.
I think if you exclude his 1 relief appearance where he got lit up coming back from injury, his ERA was
like a whole half a run less, I think.
It's
right.
It's like a 1.8 or something like that for the season. He had one of the best rookie years in like the history of the Dodgers in LA. So
if it wasn't for that 1 relief appearance coming back from the ribs,
it's
there would have been a lot more of when the Acuna thing came out that he got Rookie of the Year because he was right there.
Yeah,
Plus missing those
137 innings pitched across 23 games started. He struck out 151 batters. He struck out about 10 per 9 innings, which is very Kershaw-esque. He walked 2 per 9 innings, which was a lot better than I thought after his very first start. When I watched him pitch against Miami, I was like, oh man, this guy's going to walk a lot of people this year. Because I think every batter he faced during that game, almost it felt like he went to a 3-2 count on every one of those guys.
That first inning was amazing for him to get out of. I was at that game. And I think he walked 5 in that game or something.
Yeah, and he ended up pitching, I think, still 5 innings that game.
No runs, and that was pretty much like a sign of things to come. Like this guy's going to make it happen, do it for the Dodgers the whole season. And he led... we're looking here about, him only making 26 starts, having less innings pitched. This is a guy who led the postseason in innings pitched at, 29 and a third? Mm-hmm. The dude wants it, and the dude, deserves it. And even like the Atlanta game, he got pulled a little bit too early. But Buehler's he's a special talent, and I have no doubt that he's going to get hurt early in the season. Things are going to be bad, and we're all going to be sad. No, I really have a lot of faith in the kid.
If you say it now, then it doesn't happen. So
I did this. I watched it. I watched it.
0.96 whip. Okay.
What's your
end game? And
what's your
148 ERA plus. I'm just saying.
I am not a dancing puppet.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I think he's going to be. I'm so excited for our future. I know we talk about this season, and I'm really big on the next season, obviously. But I'm so excited for the future that we have with this team, with the players that we have in the organization, in the minor leagues right now, the level of talent. I just think we're going to compete for so long. And for I'm a Saints fan. And I had to watch them suffer for a really long time before they got 1 championship. And so to know that I can root for a team that's going to compete for a very long time, it's just so comforting. It just warms the heart, doesn't it?
Yeah, the amount of depth this team has. We're talking about future, just not aces, but people that are going to get the job done. Talking Hall of Fame considerations, maybe Julio Urias, Brock Stewart. That's all. I just really wanted to set all that up to bring in the Brock Stewart. You just wanted to put Brock Stewart in there. So we're talking also, Buehler, SD Dodger. That's Tim Rogers, friend of the show. Buehler, my ace. We have a couple people talking about 2.4 ERA from Ryder. Max brings up a Brock too. Good point. That's a couple points for Max, knowing where the real ace lies. 4A pitchers. Bueller 247. What else? 14 wins, 19 wins. Jess says 14 or 19, 18 wins from Max, and then we got a lot of people pretty much agreeing that it's not going to be 11.
I got a few people that say Bueller's going to be a sub-2 ERA. Can we keep it down over there?
Sorry.
Did I do something bad?
Duke just came back from 20 points down to win.
Really?
By 2. So
Well,
back on track, guys. I'm ready.
All right, Rick's
Start
ready.
the podcast now.
Rick's ready to do another 7 hours of the show.
Let's
Right,
go.
we're about to wrap up.
they
but-
wear blue and we wear blue, so
Newt? What Newt? Is that Newt? Dad says Ryu going to be on the DL. Bye. All-Star break.
he said bye, like BYE.
Bye. All-Star break.
Goodbye.
Who was that? No, I disagree.
Ryu.
I disagree.
You like
Why
you
would
like
you
him?
put that juju on us, man?
I love
I know,
Ryu. He's my
I
favorite
know.
player.
Yeah, I know Joe's super high on him too because he spawned at least a series of good tweets and some one article like you're really looking at the best number 3, arguably in baseball, and I dig that. And Ryu has played up, being that ace, 1C behind Kershaw and Greinke back in the day. So now we have Buell Doggy Dog. I'm going to make it happen. Hey, Zed, make that a shirt. The Buell Dog. We're going to get one to Hirsch.
There you go.
Anyway,
Yeah,
that's
I like him. I like
those
the
are-
guy. You
those
like
are-
the guy? We like the guy?
I love Ryu.
We
Yeah.
all love him.
He's delicious.
All
So earlier in the stream, we saw Randy Shipley, friend of the stream, ask a question of Rick. Wait,
Uh-oh.
Rick's empty.
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right, I cracked this one. When you drink 2 Bud Lights, does that equal 1 regular? Hey, statistically speaking, what are your thoughts?
No.
That's it.
You
That's
heard
all.
it
That's
here.
all we're.
Yeah.
You heard
I
it
wasn't
here
actually
first.
wasn't really paying attention, but
No, yeah, me neither.
Two Bud Lights, is that 1 regular beer? That was the question.
There's not a Bud, is there? Oh, Budweiser. I guess
yeah,
that's-
but heavy.
Is that what they call it?
Diesel. Yeah.
I'm not
Diesel.
drinking Shaq. I am not drinking Shaq. I'm not hacking
Yeah,
Shaq.
we're gonna get the next question in there now.
Last one. This is going to be the last one as we're still waiting on shirts. Jess says she's still waiting on shirts, Zed. It's coming up. Spring training. We're going to have some shirts, and they're going to be fire. They are going to be fire. You heard it here first, folks. Forks.
Forks. You damn forks.
There was a question I saw about it, and I had it kind of prepped too. We had, where did you go? Charles saying, do you guys think the proposed universal DH, we're not going to get into the pitching clock thing, but DH, happily I can say that we're being spared from the DH in our last little outro segment here. Being spared from the DH at least until baseball's on strike
Right.
for at the end of this current CBA. Rick, do you ever want to see the DH in the NL?
No.
Good answer. He just won the
Perfect.
stream. Couple of points.
I was nervous. I didn't know where you were going.
I love the strategy, the pitching changes, the double switches, whatever it is. I mean, it's a beautiful part of the game that, I mean, that's where managers separate themselves from the pack. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you saw Counsell do it in the Brewers series where he was able to take important pieces out of the Dodgers lineup by the way he managed. I mean, it was a little bit different with the starters and stuff like that. But just kind of the strategy of baseball there was as another layer versus just trotting out the same 9 guys every day and saying this is our lineup or, I don't know. I love the DH. Or sorry, not having the DH.
Not,
yeah.
having it. Not to mention, I have paid good money to go out to Dodger Stadium to watch Rich Hill hit. Just for that purpose.
that was-
I didn't even know who they were playing. I was like, I just need to see Rich Hill hit
Yeah.
today. I need that enjoyment in my life.
Looking
That
at,
is quality entertainment.
looking at the upcoming starters. Rich Hill.
My goodness, if I get the chance to go see Rich Hill hit, I'm gonna go to that game. It's
Calling
so
it hitting.
well. No, I mean he goes to the plate, so that's all that really matters.
The stat is PA for plate appearance. I'm gonna call it a plate attempt.
Oh yeah, there was the I think Jeff Samardzija had said that in the argument, and this kind of made me like Jeff Samardzija a little bit more. He talked about when they brought up the whole DH thing, he had said he brought up Johnny Cueto versus Rich Hill, and he's like, that's entertainment. That's baseball entertainment at its finest, and I would 100% agree with that. It's so much fun to watch that, and you talked about the management side of it. I just feel like there is so much more actual managing involved when you have to work around that. Otherwise, I mean, realistically, pitching changes. setting lineups for the day. What else is there? Come on, you got to work around that. You got to work around the pitcher.
I mean, you're looking at lineup changes 3-4 innings in advance. Thinking, if I use this guy here, I won't have him against this pitcher later. Or if I do this switch, how's it going to affect us? If I do it in the 7th, how's it going to affect us in the 9th? There's a lot of strategy involved that it seems very basic, but it's really, really complicated. I think it's a beautiful part of the game.
Yeah, and I feel like Alex Cora being able to do as much as he did with the Red Sox to usurp our Dodgers attempt. It was because he was born and raised Dodger. He understands the NL game. If he was a AL lifer, no way in hell he could have figured out how to do that. No way. If he had never met Tommy Lasorda in his life, you think he was gonna be, hey, Chris Sale, I don't care if you're pitching tomorrow. You're pitching tonight.
There you go.
Like that's the NL style. So Tommy Lajobu does it.
Tommy Lajobu.
Also, the Dodgers pitchers are pretty good hitters. So
yeah,
they are.
I mean, with the exception of.
That's just details.
Over under 1 home run for Kershaw this year.
Under.
Sorry.
You
said you were positive.
We'll say it now. I put it into my notes. Kershaw's hitting 2 home runs this year.
Wait, where is it?
I'm saying that because
you picked the wrong pitcher for my over under on home runs.
I have it. There it is.
Ryu? You're Ryu? Dude, Ryu has
knockoff.
Ryu's got to hit a couple bombs this year, man.
Oh, Babe Ruth?
It's not something I've ever paid. Like, I go to the games for free, but so I can't say I paid good money.
Rub that in our face.
Pay good money, but it's something that they hit before actual batting practice. But pitchers BP is so fun for me to watch. I love watching it because Ryu just drops bombs all day, and
dropping
bomb actually practices bunting as religiously as you would expect. So I mean, everything you see in the game carries over. So I know Ryu can do it. It's just a matter of when he actually does it in the game.
Oh, he's doing it, man. I'm so excited for that.
Wait, in that case, because it still took him a little while. Bueller doesn't take a lot of time in pitcher's BP, does he?
He does.
Are you just saying that?
No, he does. And a lot of guys work with him on his bunting. I mean, this was old pitching coaches and stuff like that. But hitting coaches. But I mean, it's not that easy to bunt, I guess.
No, it's hard, especially when they're throwing that hard. I mean, I've never had to bunt in a major league game, obviously.
That you have not. I can attest to this. And as we end the show, Jess says, I think this has been my favorite Dodgers Nation it says Blue Haven, but Blue Heaven podcast so far. Thank you. They're all fantastic. But Rick being here, thanks for coming out. This has been a hoot and a holler. And we're looking forward to knowing that you're back there giving JD just as much hell as you can all season.
That's what we know is happening.
Now that I live by him, he feeds me, so I have to be a little bit nicer. But now I will.
He got you with the food. He started barbecuing and everything.
Oh yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, I think that's what we got to do. We got to set it up. I still have said that I want to set it up where you guys, we just bring you onto the show and then we just sit back and watch you guys gab in front of the live stream.
We won't even be on the camera. We'll just stand back there.
I think that would be fun. We got to pass it by all of Joe's mini agents.
Oh, Bergman Greg actually just noticed that Rick was on the show today.
Oh, sweet.
So
what's up, Greg?
You got a shout out from Greg.
Yeah, sorry about that tough Lakers loss, Greg. I barely noticed that. Duke won. Just saying.
Greg a Duke fan?
No, I don't know. No, probably not.
I don't think
Brandon's probably a UCLA fan or a USC
fan. Oh, he is a UCLA fan. You're right. He's talking to me about it.
Greg's not a fan of many things.
Tough loss.
He loves the wave, I can tell you.
He does say he wants to get a drink soon, all of us. So
sweet.
We're going to make it happen.
It's because the Lakers lost.
Hung Chi Kuo's hitting a home run this year. And you can find us with Dodgers Nation on the internet machine. That's DodgersNation.com. Subscribe to Blue Heaven on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM. Just Google us. You're going to find that Blue Heaven Podcast, Dodgers Nation. That's the way it goes.
There are a lot of ways that you can listen to us.
And every Tuesday, live, right here.
So you don't really have an excuse to not listen to us. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. I am at BrookMe3. This guy over here is at RealFRG. A huge thank you to our crack production team. Those guys over there in the stands. Our in-house audience, Mr. Zed James. Happy birthday to him yesterday. So
happy birthday, Zed.
If you want to add him on Twitter, he's at ZedJames_. Make sure you let him know. He looks good for, how old is he?
74.
74. Happy birthday to him yesterday. And Mr. Gary Lee, the other part of our crack production team. Thank you again to our guest, Rick, at Rick_K21.
Yeah.
Nailed it?
Yep. There it is.
Go follow him for all the
you got that down better from the last
updates from the season. Make sure that you are obviously watching you guys all year long because you have some of the best stats and analysis between you and Mr. Davis over there.
Mr. Hershiser too.
Mr. Hershiser as well.
Cool
Yeah,
stuff as well.
His is a lot more interesting.
Yeah, Bulldog was fun. We got to get him over here. We're gonna force it.
That guy he's a hoot and a holler.
He's
Thank
treat
you
him
guys.
like a bird. Just put something over his head.
That's all you got to do to him?
Yeah, I think that's what. Or the bird box thing. Is that still a thing?
You can
that
sign
died,
us off
right?
now. That's
That
good.
died.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for hanging out with us, guys. We do appreciate it. Baseball's here. Happy spring training. Happy baseball season. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.